Happy New Year, my non-existent fan base. It's TVB, and I'm here today to make a New Year's Day vlog. I make one of these kind of videos every year on New Year's Day where I look back on the year that just ended. Or I was like, I go over channel statistic, things that have happened in my life, and I just talk to you guys about how my year went and my overall expectations and plans for this coming year, for 2021. And since 2020 was probably my biggest roller coaster of a year since 2017. I remember a year ago, I was still home. I took a semester off from college last year. I dropped out of Colorado. I went home and I was going to community college, and I was working at a PetSmart, just making ends meet. And I came back, and I remember the video I made on New Year's Day last year. I said something like,
2020 is going to be the best year yet, and I am totally certain for that. Like, we have so much to look forward to. Like,
yeah, that hasn't aged very well, has it? Like, 365 days ago, I had no idea. Like, none of us had any idea that there would be, like, this pandemic. There would be this huge coronavirus. And I knew I was in for a wild year, but I was really optimistic going into it. And I decided to do something different for this year, for this end of the year vlog. I decided to draw my 2020 as a river. Last time I did one of these activities was back in 2017 at a freshman orientation when I was at Colorado. We did a whole activity about, draw our life as a river, demonstrating our lives' various high and low points. And I decided to do the same thing for 2020 because this whole year has just been a huge series of ups and downs. But I know this is, 2017 was a really crazy year for me because I graduated high school, and I started college, and I had my first paying job, I dyed my hair, just, a lot of really, big milestones and firsts for that. 2020 also had a lot of firsts and milestones, and a lot of crazy stuff happened. So I really just want to walk through with you guys just how my year went. But first things first, I want to show you guys this. So today, January 1st, 2021, my channel has an overall view count of 317,860 views. I have 1,421 subscribers, and I've uploaded 105 videos, including live streams, and I count up all the likes to dislikes on all my videos and live streams I did this year, and it totaled up to 390 likes and 33 dislikes, leaving my like to dislike ratio at 11.81, which is my second highest like-to-dislike ratio of any year. First being 2019, last year, I had a like-to-dislike ratio of 13. That's roughly 13 likes to every dislike, which is awesome. And thank you guys so much for getting my channel to past 300,000 views. And I'm hoping, since we hit 100,000 views back in 2018, and 200,000 views in 2019, and 300,000 views in 2020, can we make it to 400,000 views by New Year's Eve of 2021, so by December 31st? We're almost 20% of the way there already, which is awesome. You guys are really the best. The biggest high point of 2020 was January and February this past year, which, if I'm gonna be really frank, also just a little tangent real quick, I realized when I finished drawing my river and making it, at least a little symmetrical, I realized I still had a lot of empty space to draw on. So yeah, I hope you guys appreciate the stick figures and the monsters and the dinosaurs and animals and things. January and February this year in 2020 were the best 2 months of my life. I ended my job at PetSmart, and I flew to Florida with my parents, and I visited my grandfather for the last time. He unfortunately passed away right around Easter, and I really hope he's in a better place right now because he was in a lot of pain for many, many years, and we would fly to Florida quite a bit and visited him. We'd spend a lot of our holidays there, and yeah, never take your loved ones for granted, kids. You can lose them at any moment. After our Florida trip, my mom and I went skiing for a week before classes started. We have a friend in Vail, so she let us stay at her place. So we skied in Vail, Breckenridge, Beaver Creek, and Telluride. Oh my gosh, Telluride is such a place. It stems from To Hell You Ride, which is because there's such a huge long drive to get there and it's pretty rigorous, but like Telluride is a small town with a big heart and an even bigger mountain. So I would highly suggest checking out that place if you guys ever can. And yeah, and then classes started after Martin Luther King Day, and like I reunited with my floor mates. I basically picked up from where I left off back in that September, as I dropped out of CSU back that September 2019. I managed to get back in my same room, my same roommate, with my same floor and everything, and yeah, I just continued from where I left off, and I was like, yes, I'm back with a vengeance. I was feeling really confident and determined because I was reuniting with all my friends, and I had my first relationship this year. During syllabus week, the first week of classes, I met Sarah, who you guys might have seen her in a handful of my videos. And our first date was January 31st. And the weekend after that, my friend Forrest, who graduated last year, drove up to visit us, and we saw Birds of Prey together and reviewed it for you guys. And yeah, so the three of us got all kinds of shenanigans together that weekend. And the weekend after that was Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day this year, in February, I did a RAM ride, which is like basically Uber for CSU students. Like it's free, it's safe, it's non-judgmental. It's like you drive people around. Like one person drives, the other person navigates. And I was navigating, like Guy Pono was driving, so we drove a lot of people at night. And the day after that, February 15th, was my friend Ian's baby's first birthday party. And after that, Sarah and I went our second date. We went to Loveland, and there's like a local theater there. And they were playing American Idiot at a local theater. I was gonna see Green Day. Green Day is my favorite band of all time, and I've seen them live before, and I was gonna see them live for a second time with Fall Out Boy and Weezer this past July, but unfortunately the tour was postponed for obvious reasons. And yeah, the tour was rescheduled, and they're coming to Colorado in August, later this August, so yeah, I'm really excited to see them then, but I was happy to see that local theater because, I mean, I've been a tremendous Green Day fan, and Sarah and I made it official a few days after that. It's like, that might have been like the best night of my life. It was like, it had friends, it had romance, it had adventure, it had Green Day, just like all of these things that I'm just all about. And the weekend after that was Avatar: Last Airbender's 15th birthday, so I managed to get a bunch of my friends from my church to come to one of the study buildings at CSU, and we basically took over the projector and watched as much of season 1 as we could with my laptop, my DVDs, until the janitors asked us to leave. It was like, everyone was just rejoicing this past May that Airbender was finally available on Netflix. I'm just like, amateurs, I've had a complete series on DVD since July. So many happy memories were made in January and February. Like, I was really just on top of my game, and I was just rocking my classes. Like, up until spring break, my lowest grade was a B-, and yeah, I was in love, and I was, just really living it up and doing the best I could. And then spring break, I don't know when the days, I don't know how it is for other places, but I was in Denver at the time. I was staying at my uncle's house, and the lockdown started on St. Patrick's Day. I was like, oh, dang it, Governor Polis, you're the biggest party pooper, closing all the bars on St. Patrick's Day. The virus took a lot of getting used to, especially when I came back to CSU after spring break. Most of the students left the dorms, and I was still living in the dorms at the time. And it was like campus was a ghost town, and I feel weird for saying this, but I kind of miss that, like when it was just very empty and quiet. Like, it was very peaceful and serene, and I could take a step back and like appreciate things around me. Like, it was certainly depressing, with everything being closed and being away from people, but I made the best of it. Like, I found that some classes I've taken have been easier now they're online instead of in person. And as for the whole social distancing thing, I'm in a weird conundrum. Like, when we were kids, my sister would always like badger me for being too introverted and too quiet and being antisocial. Be like, oh, Vita, you need to go out more. Stop staying and playing video games so much. But now that I'm an adult, now that I'm a college student, it's like, Sarah and all my introvert friends call me the social one. So it's like, all of the extroverts in my life think I'm an introvert, and all the introverts think that I'm an extrovert. Like, because I definitely enjoy being around others. I love hanging out with people and going places and meeting people for sure. But I also really like my alone space, when I'm like in my room making videos or playing my Xbox or going to movies. I love doing those things by myself. It's just like both of that does get tiresome after a while. Like, you know, being alone does really suck sometimes. At the same time, being surrounded by people can also suck sometimes. And it was also during March, you know, when I was at my uncle's house for spring break, I made my leg video for Sausage Party, which is now like my 7th most viewed video I've ever put on YouTube. That video alone, I haven't really done the exact calculations, but I'm pretty sure that video has more views than all the other videos made in 2020 combined. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep those My Leg videos coming for you guys. And also, big surprise, one of the biggest surprises of the year was back in February, I remember posting about how my video, my first My Leg video, the one I did for Jurassic Park, surpassed Pesky Bee for 10 hours, my most viewed video on YouTube. Since then, my 7 facts about pumas. Is it puma or puma? Some people in the comments of that video were saying it's pronounced puma, but anyway, that video exploded with views. Like, it gained like an additional 20,000 views within that time span, and now it's like my most viewed video on YouTube. Like, it was always like one of my more viewed videos on YouTube, but this year it was just like, I wanted to thank you guys for making that video as like highly viewed as it was. It was also during March when I decided to grow out my beard. I wasn't planning on growing out a beard at first, but I figured like every full year of being a college student, I've had a new hair look of some kind. Like in 2017, I dyed my hair pink on my 19th birthday, and I was committed. I kept that pink hair going throughout basically 2018 until I ran out of products, you know, that November. 2019, my new hair look was my buzz cut, and 2020, I decided to grow out the beard. I'll probably get a buzz cut and keep the beard at some point this year. That's just an idea that I had. And I said to last time I shaved was on March 25th, right after spring break, and I was gonna shave again a few days later, but I said to myself, wait a minute, why should I shave? Because, like, my family's not gonna visit me anytime soon because of quarantine, neither was Sarah, so, you know, why shave? Since there were so few of us still living on campus, they made us all move into the same dorm. I want to say, like, right before Easter. I FaceTimed my parents on Easter Sunday, and they were just like, oh, Vitae, the beard looks good on you, and I'm just like, yes! It was also during March and April. I added a little dip right here to demonstrate a little low point. Between Easter and 420 Blazed Day, I was just unbelievably slammed with homework for my online classes because after spring break, I was certainly busy. Like, I had a lot of work to do, but I was never overwhelmed. However, after Easter, I was snowed in because Colorado weather is all over the place. We get snowstorms in April, May, September, October, you name it. Like, no month is safe from Colorado's bipolar weather. And I wasn't able to even, like, go outside for, like, days, and I was just snowed in with, like, really big projects, and yeah, that was a stressful week, but, you know, we got through it. And then I'd say this summer was the second highest point of the year, like May and June and the first half of July. Like, I finished the spring semester, you know, with flying colors. I passed all my classes. I walked away with 16 credits, and I was very pleased. We moved into our summer apartments, and I took 2 summer classes this year. My first class was a beat generation writing class. I'm an English major. It was a lot of we read a lot of books from like the 1950s and 60s, you know, authors like Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg and dudes like that. And then I finished that class. It basically had 4 weeks to myself, and then my second class started in the second half of July, which was also for 4 weeks. And during those 4 weeks, I knew I was going to spend a lot of time looking for a new place to stay because I knew I had to move out of that apartment by July 31st. And a few days before that class ended, the Beat Generation Writing class ended, my friend Max, another one of my friends from Outpost, the church I go to, reaches out to me and be like, dude, my roommates are moving out, I need new guys to move in with me. So I was like, okay, like, you know, I knew I had to find a new place to stay, and one just came, you know, on a silver platter, so it was perfect. So I hop onto the lease, and those 4 weeks that I just had to myself, I spent a lot of that time looking for other guys to move in with us. Eventually, our friend Aaron moved in with us as well, and our guy Adam found us through CSU's off-campus website. So yeah, the three of us moved in with Max like at the end of July and start of August, and we've just been living there ever since. But yeah, during the summer, it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like everything was just going up in smoke. Like, you know, not just with the pandemic, but with the George Floyd incident, like this past May, and like all the talk about rioting and looting and the protests and just like all the craziness. Like, it seemed to be that everything was just falling to pieces, but I was still really optimistic about everything because I was like, you know what, I didn't ask for any of this. That's the thing with 2020. It's like, yeah, it's been a crazy, like, tumultuous year, but all the really shitty stuff that happened this year were all things that were beyond my control. I couldn't change the pandemic. I couldn't change, you know, the protests and what I was seeing on the news or the election or any of that stuff. And yeah, I still maintained a pretty healthy attitude about things. Until and also during 4th of July, my friend Forrest also came up to visit us, and we celebrated together with my friend Mark and Sarah, of course. And that weekend, we also went on a camping trip with my friend Ian, who was also my small group leader at Outpost. It was like our last hurrah for him because he was moving to South Dakota like 2 weekends after that, I believe. And yeah, that was just a really fun weekend. You know, we watched fireworks from a distance and drove around the place, and just more shenanigans. I had to take off my sweatshirt because I was getting all sweaty. But yeah, for basically the first half of 2020, I was just feeling really good about things because I was back at the place I wanted to be, and I, had that special someone in my life, which all kind of segues us into the lowest point of my year, the second half of July, because around the same time my second class began, it was like a witchcraft class. We learned about how witches have been portrayed in American literature throughout the centuries. It was around that same time when Sarah and I broke up. If you follow me on Twitter, like a handful of you guys who've been following me on Twitter since like September and October, you may be aware of that. But that's my first time like sharing that on camera. A few days after that, Ian moved to South Dakota. I made a video with him, actually, with his family. I was helping them pack their bags, and he made some dad jokes. I mean, it was hard to see him go because, my gosh, Ian has been there for me since day one, ever since I came out to Colorado. I've met, basically my best friends, my first real girlfriend, and my roommates through Outpost, so I owe them everything. And it's like, and Ian visited us back in October, more on that later, but still, it was, it's the breakup and him leaving on top of the class I was taking. I was really stressed out about it, and having to move in with Max. There was just so much heartache and stress, and I was feeling really just upset about things, and I felt like, because keep in mind, like I said, back in January and February, I felt like I was on top of the world. Now I felt like I just hit rock bottom. I did not make this video to badmouth my ex-girlfriend. Like, I'm not gonna jump into details over what happened for her sake, but I wanted you guys to know that I've never had any resentment or bitterness towards her. She and I had a fantastic relationship, and I'll always be thankful for that. Like, I have no regrets. And, I learned so much from her, and she freed me from a lot of past insecurities that I was dealing with. And she is, believe me when I say, she's a really amazing person, and she only deserves the best. And then when I moved in with Max on July 31st, at that point, I only had a week of that class left, and the hardest part of it was behind me, so the last week of that class was certainly busy, but, we got through it, and I basically had 2 weeks to myself, until fall classes began. So I spent a lot of that time job searching and just playing a lot of Call of Duty. Oh, I forgot to mention, I earned my first gold camo in a Call of Duty back in I earned the gold peak. I earned my first gold camo back in January, and I started my Road to Platinum series. I know those videos don't get that many views, but I still really love making Call of Duty montages, just when I play games and earn those triple kills and quad feeds and the kill streaks and whatnot. And when I'm sitting on my laptop while I'm editing, sifting through all that unedited gameplay and listening to the right music or listening to a good podcast, that is therapy to me. But yeah, August I was really just hanging out, and then when classes began at the end of August, I was just feeling really paranoid. So this is why I had so many ups and downs right here in September, because I'd say for like the first month of classes, I was just like in this really horrible loop of feeling pretty smooth about things like some days, and just feeling like an absolute train wreck the next. And I was just really down, and I was depressed some days, and like I wasn't, not just because I was still upset about what happened in July, but also because of like getting used to everything being online. I mean, my grades were fine, but like I still had, what helped me break free from like that state, that cycle of just feeling like really down the dumps, was a change of routine. Like I started waking up earlier, I been using less meal swipes in the dining halls, and I've been cooking more, cleaning more. I've been, helping with more chores and exercising more frequently. And and just other bits of like self-care, like I've been drinking less, and I've been working towards just like basic goals. Feeling like when you're dangling off a building and you're just holding on by your fingertips and you could slip at any moment. In October, Ian flooded this because that was my friend Tom's wedding with his now wife Jana. Like that was a big turning point of my fall semester. That was probably the biggest highlight of my fall. I was just really happy to celebrate with them, and I finally, had a sense of freedom from like all that uneasiness that I was feeling. And it was a big turning point of my year, and I was like, you know what, this is beautiful, and I'm really happy I could be here today. And I'd say things have been on a pretty steady incline ever since. Also, I got into a new TV show around my birthday. A few days after Tom got married was my 22nd birthday, and it was around that same time I started watching Primal. It's created by Gendy Tartakovsky, who also created Samurai Jack. Because I don't have cable at my house, so I can't really make Walking Dead reactions for you guys anymore. So I got into a new cartoon. Primal is just so simple. It's like basically a caveman and a T-Rex like join forces to live together in a prehistoric world. And it's so simple, there's not even any dialogue in it. So if you're a fan of like dinosaurs and visual storytelling, I'd highly suggest Primal. And I keep telling you guys I'm gonna make a video talking about it, and I keep putting it off, so I will certainly get around to doing so. I was also job searching, and then I secured a job at the bookstore. Training day is on Wednesday, so I'm flying back to Colorado Monday for it. And yeah, I'd say things have been on a pretty steady incline since December. Back in October, like before Halloween, I dropped a class. Wasn't thrilled to do that, but in the end, it was the right thing to do. And yeah, that's pretty much all led me up to this point. So yeah, during the fall, I got off to a pretty bumpy start, but like, I can gladly say that, I was keeping myself busy and I had stuff going on, and everything's been rock and rolling ever since. I need to figure out where I'm gonna tape up this poster. Maybe I should, take off some paintings I have in my room and like just tape it up there, but I'll figure out when I can. I think this video's gone on for long enough, so let me just conclude it by saying this. 2020 was definitely not without its low points, and I know it's been like a huge year for all of us because of the pandemic and, the election cycle and, all that other stuff, but like, the things that have happened in my life for the past year, I wouldn't change it for the world. And like I said, all the really bad stuff that happened this year were all things that were beyond my control. Like before I left CSU temporarily last year, like throughout middle school, high school, and like the first half of my college career, I'll admit, there were a lot of moments where I did not act well. I didn't act wisely, I didn't use my best judgment. I've had bad lapses of, bad choices. There are a lot of times where I was ungrateful and selfish, and I let my anger get the best of me, or just, and I'm not gonna lie, before I came back to Colorado this past January, I was terrified of myself. I came back to school, and I don't feel that stress or fear anymore. I do get, angry and upset and stressed and tired and, just messy sometimes, but I really try not to let that consume me anymore. We've all been through so much this year and the years before that, and I definitely think that this is all meant to happen and that this is all just part of the process. Life is a marathon, not a sprint, and just enjoy the journey, because at the end of the day, the destination is irrelevant. What matters more is the path you walk and everything that happens along the way. And on that note, I got some editing to do. My apologies, this video was kind of all over the place, but it's 2020 was just the craziest year, and my plans for 2021, so of course I'm gonna keep making videos. I'm graduating from Colorado State this December from the looks of it. And of course I got a job coming up and I'm gonna be very busy with classes, so my apologies if I don't upload it like as frequently this year as I usually do. Like, honestly, like I said, this 2020 was the year I uploaded the fewest number of videos since 2014, 105 videos. That was probably because the movie theaters were closed for most of 2020. And thus, like, I couldn't review new movies for you guys anymore. And during my fall semester, like, even when the movie theaters were reopened, I didn't really go to the movies that much because, like, on the weekends, either A, I was way too busy. I was way too busy with, like, schoolwork or homework and stuff like that and preparing for exams, or there were just other things I'd rather be doing. Like, do I want to see a movie tonight, or should I just stay in and play video games or make videos or whatever? And yeah, I haven't found myself doing that, so like, little New Year's resolution of mine is hopefully I can review movies on a more regular basis, but I'll have to see like what my schedule looks like, I guess. And of course, I asked you guys in this past Would You Rather Wednesday about ditching the intro. Yeah, this is gonna be the last video that I use that intro. I've been using that intro since 2016. I think it's time I put it to rest and make a new one if I ever get the chance. But yeah, you guys are truly the best. Thank you so much for watching. Can we get this channel to 400,000 views by New Year's Eve of this coming December? Like, that would be amazing if we could. And I love you guys so much, and I hope you all have a fantastic 2021. Stay beastly.